Masters. Today I'm going over leg hooping, so I'll show you what we'll be covering in this tutorial. Alright guys, to get started, I'm first going to suggest that you have a hoop that's not too heavy, definitely nothing more than 1.5 pounds. And also something that's not too crazy light or small diameter. You don't want something too heavy because it can be really clunky on the legs and could actually cause some bruising. Also not something that's too small diameter and too lightweight because it's going to move super fast, and we want to set you up for success and give you plenty of time to master the foundations of leg hooping, because this is a little bit of a tricky exercise for hula hoop fitness. So right now I can tell you today I'm working with a 38-inch HDPE hoop. So this is what works well for me. It's got some good grip on the inside, so just make sure you have the right equipment today. As always, if anything is feeling uncomfortable, then take a break from it. If you're experiencing any bruising on the legs, just take a moment and then come back to it in a bit. All right guys, so let's get right into it. So for leg hooping, the main things to remember are that when the hoop is maintaining rotation on the legs, it is a quicker rhythm than when it's on your waist. So I'm going to break down the mechanics of how leg hooping works. You can actually start here, and then we're going to talk about navigating from waist onto the legs. So if you're starting here, just go ahead and have your knees slightly bent. Bring the hoop to the back of your legs right here, to the back of your hamstrings. And you're going to give the hoop a big push above the knee. What's going to happen as it revolves around is you're going to bend that knee to nudge into it, and as it comes around the back, you're going to kind of bend and straighten to keep the hoop going. So you'll see what I mean here. Notice that it happens in a double time rhythm. It's quicker than when we're hooping on the belly. Right now, I'm in a 1-2, 1-2 rhythm with leg hooping. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So I'm doing a double push on each leg. The back legs are working too. And we are just working to keep this hoop nice and parallel to the ground in this 1-2 rhythm. Now it is possible to keep that rotation maintained with your hoops almost super glued together. If you imagine that your legs were super glued together, this circular rhythm with your hips also works to keep the hoop going. The only challenge with that is that you're not going to be able to move around with it if you are kind of in this position where your legs are super close and you're circular. So I prefer this marching rhythm where it's a 1-2, 1-2, kind of marching rhythm to keep the hoop going. So let's put this into slower motion again. Imagining the hoop is coming around here. It's the second leg that the hoop hits. I'm nudging into the push point right above my knee, and then it comes around the other side. I'm bending and straightening. So again, it's going to be 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Ideally, you want to get in the habit of moving around with the hula hoop. So you don't want to be in the same place on the ground, because ultimately we're dancing. This is hoop dance. We want to utilize our space, move around with the hoop so that we're not stuck on the ground here. Okay, so feel free to move freely and play around. So what you're doing is playing around with your walking on the push point. So as the hoop revolves around that front knee, that would be the time that you would begin to travel and walk with the hoop, right? Same thing with traveling back. It's on that back push that we can navigate back. So I'll be real honest with you guys. Leg hooping is one of the more challenging moves to master. Be patient with the process, okay? As I mentioned a moment ago, when we're waist hooping, this rhythm is a little bit slower than when the hoop does come onto the legs. So if we're talking about navigating from waist onto the legs, what I would recommend is to do a little turn into the direction of your spin. Let it guide it over your hips and butt. And as it comes right here above the knee, increase your speed. Know that you're in a double time rhythm when the hoop is on the legs, okay? And it's funny, as soon as people master leg hooping, they automatically want to know how to bring it back up to the waist. So I'll show you that too. When the hoop hits here above the push point, imagine your leg is a staircase and that this is a stair and your hoop is taking steps up the body. So your knee is going to rise up and you're going to pump it up to your waist again. So I would honestly though, master leg hooping, get into this rhythm, feel comfortable here, move around with the hoop, walk with it, dance with it. be able to do that before you really worry about bringing it back up to the waist again. When you're ready, identify that push point right above the knee and start to pump as you turn into the direction of your spin. So remember, one of the great recoveries for waist hooping is the dip and bump, right? So we're gonna do that same exact thing when we get the hoop as high as we can, raising it up from the leg. So sweet spot is above the knee. We're pumping, dip and bump with the turn to bring it back up to waist. All right, so quick recap. We want to be marching rhythm with the hoop to keep it going on the legs. We want to make sure we have the right size hoop that's going to set us up for success. You can start it here right above the knees to get a feel for how it works. Double time rhythm, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? So that's our nice even rhythm. We can also do like a double time beat if we notice the hoop is getting wonky or tilting on us, and then to bring it back up, we're identifying that push point in the front knee, we're pumping, turning into the dip and bump. So that's leg hooping, you guys. Good luck, have fun with it. Comment below if you have any questions at all.